You ain't fall in love with me. You fell in love with the man I could be. You ain't fall in love with me. You fell in love with you. She said to me, you ain't no good. Yes, I know. What I'm supposed to do about that? I'm on go. I've been moving state to state. I went pro. Baby, plenty dough. Heavy flow. She crazy. I can ease your mind if you're going through something. That don't mean I can cure the passion. You think I free my night if you wanna do something. But I'm taking your direction. You ain't fall in love with me. You fell in love with the man I could be. You ain't fall in love with me. You fell in love. You know, she said to me, you been with. I've been low. She said she don't believe that shit. She think I'm gross. I can't even hug a bitch. She gon' know to fight me for the hell of it. Gotta dip, gotta go somewhere. Have I been wrong? I don't know rights to that music. That is Fell in Love, Marshmallow, and Prince Chaos. Am I saying it right? I don't know rights to that music. Go press like, subscribe, and notification. Good music. My name is Lisi the High Priestess. You can find me on Lisi the High Priestess on TikTok. You can go as back as you want to. You can find me on Lisi's World on TikTok for my other talents. You can also find me on Lisi.highpriestess86 on IG. You want to DM me if I actually read. I'm horrible. I like pick and choose. I don't know. I try not to even. I could have a more exciting life if I hit everybody up, but also I could have a more peaceful life if I don't. Para mi gente latina, Lisi the High Priestess 2 por TikTok y YouTube Español. YouTube, press like, subscribe, notification with the notification bell. You can get my lives. If not, you'll have to wait 12 hours. I tell unique stories. I don't like it to resonate with everyone because it takes away from the story. I don't want millions of people, which definitely is not no millions on mine. But I wouldn't want everybody to be going through the similar thing. It's just horrible. But you can get a lesson. You can learn from the wise. Also, this is for entertainment purposes only, just in case it goes dark. But throughout my readings, I do channel and I do give general messages. Okay? I've been gone too long to know where I belong. So this song, he's talking about you didn't fall in love. You didn't fall in love with me. You fell in love with the man that I could be. You ever do everything by the book and it still doesn't come out the way you wanted it? Like, you figure you wouldn't have kids by a certain age. You weren't going to marry a certain type of woman. You weren't going to, and then just God laughs at your plans. I have shared before a testimony on a pastor and his pastorette. It's a true story. I prefer not to mention names because still people's lives, that's their testimony to tell when they're explaining to people how they got to be where they're at. Well, this certain story, I've said this before. I don't know if it's on your Scorpio reading or if it was in another one, but there was a woman, she was with her hairdresser and she was describing the kind of man that she wanted. And the guy was so appalled because, I mean, she found something right with somebody, except he wasn't perfect. Didn't have all those credentials. And she had a whole list of like what she wanted out of a man. And until those were checked off, she was, that's the kind of man she wanted to marry. She's telling this to her hairstylist who happens to be a gay man. And the gay man, the hairstylist, and there's no shade to it, he just happens to be gay, told her, golly, you have described me. You, my love, are in love with a gay man. And it taught her a lesson. You don't get to choose who's right for you. If you're really in the spiritual game, God going to choose your mate for you. And there's going to be a lot of things that you're not going to be able to check off, but we're all so imperfect. I'm just saying that you could have a checklist, and then you come to find out that that's not exactly what you wanted. You know what's so crazy? How you see love as a poor man, a poor woman, and how you see love as a rich man or a rich woman. Today, I watched something that 50 Cent had put out. It's a TikTok. I'm gonna bring it up so you guys can watch it. Shout out to 50 Cent. Press like, subscribe, notification. He does have a YouTube. All right, this is him explaining something.
With or without money. They just sort out how to live better than others. Some people know how to live better than others with or without money. They just sort out and pick a better person to share their time with. You feel what I'm saying? Even if you sleep in a one-bedroom apartment, then you may be richer than a rich guy. You see what I'm saying? Your life, your families of your life, and what you're doing, and how you feel about yourself at the moment. Some people know how to live better than others with or without money.
Some people know how to live better with or without money. That's why some people aren't envious of someone with so much power and status. You ever see a rich man jealous of a poor man? Or a poor human being or a rich human being jealous? We go into the Count of Monte Cristo. That man was happy with his girl and his little whistle, and that man was super jealous of him. That he conspired to have him locked up in the prison for many years. Took his wife, who happened to have been pregnant with his kid, and she didn't marry him immediately because she loved him, or because, well, she was pregnant and she can only cover that for so long. A lie over a lie. And then the truth comes out later on, and the Count of Monte Cristo came back with a vengeance. His best friend put him in prison and then took his girlfriend and is now raising his son and teaching his son to hate his father. Yo Train, or Yo Tran, I think. Press like, subscribe, notification on YouTube. I don't know rights to his music. All right, let's get into the tarot. I just thought I'd put those little accounts or things that I come across that I like to share on certain people's zodiac. All right, what do we have for the placements of Scorpio? And I believe I put Sagittarius, okay? Also, there's no worse lie than the one that you tell yourself. Sometimes people don't tell people that they're rich. It reminds me of that movie, was ATL, that movie with T.I., and then there was Nunu, and she liked hanging around in the block, although she was rich. And when T.I. found out that she was rich and she lived on the other side, he snatched that little chain of hers and was like, "You don't need this. You come from money." And that was precisely why she decided not to tell him anything, was because she hated being judged for having money. Because when you come from a family of wealth, you really don't lack anything. It actually even becomes boring to some of these people that come from wealth that it can make them mean. It can make them lost and confused because they're not challenged. Then seeking excitement when everything is given to them. I constantly tell people that do have money to not baby their children and not to enable them. Help. I'm not rich there yet, but if I ever was, I will make my children earn their stripes. Shoot, I'm not rich and I still make my kids earn their stripes because it takes away building character. Building character. And learning to appreciate what's good in life. I believe the ex-general of the United States of America, he was there at my daughter's graduation from college. And he had a very inspiring speech. I believe his name is Mad Dog or something like that. Let me look it up. Hold on. And he quit under James Mattis. He decided to leave when he was under Trump. He's actually a Libra. Now, that man I have a lot of respect for. So much respect for that man. That speech he gave out that day inspired the fuck out of me because he spoke and it sounded horrible at first when he was saying it. He was like, you should be grateful for all those moments that someone betrayed you, that someone cheated on you, that someone lied on you. And he just kept going on like about the negative things in life that you should be grateful for those experiences. Because had they not cheated, you wouldn't learn the lesson of what it feels to do things by the book. Had you not been betrayed, it would have never taught you about loyalty. Had you never failed, it would have never taught you how to get up to try again. He just went on and on and on, and then he came across around the ending of the speech. He was like, we all think that these titles that we obtain through life and all these trophies make you someone. And what you don't realize that at a blink of an eye, everything you could have worked so hard as far as education could be just being meaningless because of the way society is changing and morphing and the way it's going. There was a time there was no jobs for computer techs. And now there's so many. That was a perfect example that he was saying. He's like, you see YouTube influencers, some of them haven't even graduated and they're making more than us. It brings us to the rise of opportunity when you have it right in front of you. No matter how educated or not, it's the ability to think on your feet and believing in the future that it can happen. We go into manifestations there. I was watching the High Priestess today. I really like her. She's young. But that's why I think I really like her, because she's young. She's young and she'd be making sense sometimes. What was she saying? Because it completely fucking left me. Ah, fuck. Damn it. I'm scared of wealth. I'm scared of wealth. But she was talking about believing in what you want to be. I often say this too, like, how can you make your dreams possible if you don't ever dream. If you don't ever have time to sit there and think about your goals in the future, who do you want to be in 5 years from now? Not just who you want to be in 5 years from now. What do you want to change in you for the future? I don't think people are perfect. If you fucking swear that there ain't, like, I don't know. I guess there's always something left, but also the balance of being okay with what you have. And we go back to 50 Cent when he was saying that. He was like, it's who you're sharing your time with or who's in front of you. Some of the happiest moments of my life were probably with some of the people that really betrayed me. But don't think I'm not grateful for those moments that we had some very great moments, but also like a book, it was very tragic. But it taught me a lot about myself in the future. If you are aging and you're not changing shit about you, I'm going to wonder if you like the same insanity. And sometimes people get so used to that insanity, they don't know how to detach from it coming from self. Coming from self. That familiar feeling that always creeps up. I don't think there's a recipe out here for anyone. Having all the money in the world, but you don't have the person that you're in love with. Now I'm gonna go. If you've ever watched Netflix Celia Cruz, she there was a general. It was her best friend. It was kind of her first little boyfriend, and he always felt like he wasn't good enough for her. And when she started to become famous, he was trying to figure out how he could put a name for himself to be with her so she could be like, my man's a general or my man is a somebody, not just a man that's with a famous singer. So he became the main general of Fidel Castro. This is all, I'm going to say allegedly, but based on true events. There's a whole movie or telenovela on her and her life. And Celia Cruz ended up being with I think he was the head, the trumpet or whatever. He played the trumpet. And you got to understand, back in the day when Celia Cruz was barely coming up, it was right before communism hit in Cuba. And so, and it goes down, it's to Lola, her best friend. Now, let me tell you, there's so many cool lessons out of her life. The general ended up being into deep with Fidel Castro. They tortured him and killed him at the end. But he went and he just really wanted to be a somebody for Celia. And she ended up being with the dude who played the trumpet. And now the dude that played the trumpet was a whore. Rest in peace, or I don't know if he's still alive, I don't know. But she ended up marrying him and they were together forever. He had all kinds of kids and he would sleep around from woman to woman until he met Celia Cruz. Then all of a sudden, he couldn't find it in himself to cheat anymore. He just, and it's like you would think that something was casted over him, and there wasn't. And they say you can never make a man. I mean, us women, we always we're not in love with that man. We're in love with that man, with the man that he could be, like in the first song that came out. Because who they really are ain't a man that is committed. And women get this thing in the head that, we can ride or die with you this whole time. We gonna end up with you. And sometimes it is true. You know, it's called for it. I feel like throwing up. I don't know. But so I'm tired. I'm so exhausted. This is probably gonna be the only reading I'm gonna do. Or whatever. She ended up marrying that man. And he did end up changing. And she did leave him when she found out. She was like, "You're gonna get divorced and you're gonna do right by me, or we're not gonna be together." And see, sometimes we gotta stand on what we say. And the same thing with men, you know, when you find yourself being shared or a one night stand, you know, men, it's kind of scary with men sometimes the way they see us, because they see us as like we see them as a one night stand and not as a person that you can be with them in the future. And that actually hurts a man more when they realize you're just a one night stand kind of guy, not a commitment type of man. And they never see themselves like that. They've never, you know, I hate to say this, but women be looking at men like whores. You call us whores, we look at you guys like whores too. Speaking as a woman, and because y'all will treat a whore better than what you would treat a woman with class. I saw something on TikTok today. There was a man that he was saying, men like hoes. They never worry. They'll fucking they'll cry over a hoe, but they'll never cry over a good woman because they know the good woman ain't going nowhere. But their favorite little hoe, they gonna be crying because she dismisses you and she keeps on next. How come it's never me? How come I'm not the favorite? And ironically, that's kind of true. I'm not saying all men do this because there is different category of men. Definitely, I can agree with that. But let's speak on the majority of men that are lost, where they think it's fun and games to do one night stands until everybody looks at you like a one night stand. Until when you're done playing one night stands, now everybody has experienced you and nobody is willing to commit to a future with you. No one's wants to get pregnant by you or have your kids, or, you know, you'd be surprised how women that date men that don't have kids, like older men that don't have kids, how we look at them as a stigma. We look at a man that doesn't want commitment. We look at, I'm telling you, the stigma that women have. I'm not saying this is true, but it is a stigma. Women will look at you, you're scared of commitment because you never had a kid. If you're not scared of commitment, then you're underlying, you're down low, or you got some real mental fucking issues, or you're selfish, or all you care about is money, or you really are mentally fucked up that you know you can't be with anybody. I swear to you, these are the kind of stigmas, and then people start to think other shit like STDs and, you know, secret fantasies, and like, you'd be fucking surprised what goes through a woman's head. We all say we want a man that doesn't have any kids until you realize that man that has no kids is more like another child, and that's why they don't have kids. Or they'll never put you first. That's why they don't have kids. Because all they can be is selfish. And it's the same, they have the same stigma on women too. Oh, you're infertile, or no man wants to put a baby up in, oh, you're cursed, or this and that. And that is not necessarily true either. On both ends, that's not necessarily true. There's people that may have gone through experiences or seen enough experiences from everybody else that they don't want to take that dive in there. They're not risking it, they're playing it safe. And if it be that, they won't procreate, it is what it is. It's not always that, oh, there's something wrong with them or blah, or they have mental illness. It's not always like that. But majority of people are fucking stupid. They're stupid. They will care more about your divorce, the actual divorce, than your mental stability when you were married to that person. They will look at like your union is more important than him beating your fucking ass every single day. You got to get divorced. Or vice versa. Because women beat on men too. We're living in a new age where women are just, if not more dangerous than the man. I don't know, dude. I don't have answers for anything. Because I would tell you something. I've seen men that used to beat on women never lay a hand on somebody else. Like, had they not had that experience on beating that woman or that man, they would have kept doing it with everybody. Or they would have kept with the abuse with that person until that person stood up for themselves and left them. And that simple thought of never being able to obtain that kind of love again changes them. Then they learn not to put their hands on people. And you'd be surprised. There's people out here that have never laid a hand on another person because they lost the person that they truly loved. Now, that's not true for everybody, because there's people who, once they lose you, they go and replace you with somebody that's weak enough to allow that kind of stuff. They look for weak women. They look for vulnerable women. They look for, they actually like can smell it. I don't know what the fuck. And I swear that women can do the same thing with men. Like, they can tell when you can easily walk over a man and how you can manipulate them. It's people be so fucking stupid yet so smart to do shit. It's like a crackhead. And no shade if you ever had those kind of problems, but you see how crackheads, they're so addicted to their drug, and they can invent the craziest things. Like, they could be they create little holes under the earth where they can sleep at. They can create these little labs to make more drugs, but they can't go. Not that they can't, but they're unwilling to go and seek treatment for help. I want to tell you a story. There was one time I had to go to AA meetings, long time ago when I was a kid, and our counselor was telling us a story. So there was this lady that had worked for a company for about 5 years. And then after 5 years, she was a good worker too. She was always precise, and she was always like on it, everything, no complaints. And then one day, shit started to fuck up. And the boss was starting to get suspicious. And he was like, talking to somebody else, and was like, I think she might be on drugs. And so a few days later, he invites her back into the house. Not into the house, but into the office, and says, we need to talk, sit down. So they sit down and have a conversation. And he's like, I need to know something. Before I give you a UA, before I'm willing to pay for rehab for you if you're having, any kind of problems, because I noticed this and this and this and this and the third on you. Things have changed, and I don't, what's going on. And you could just be honest. We will help you with whatever you need. And she had broken down crying. She broke down crying. And she had said, actually, I'm sober. For 5 years, I've been coming in here on drugs. And that's why I paid attention to every detail. And I'm currently sober. I could piss in that cup and nothing will come out. You could take me to rehab, but they already know who I am because I started to seek treatment. And so when we heard that story, we were like, what the fuck? Like, that was crazy. Because it's like, whoa. And you want to know, man, some of the stories I heard in rehab, like, you see it on movies when people talk about, like, I was sucking dick and shit. And when the first time I heard it in real life, and I, like, no, I don't know who this person was. And this is like a long time ago. When I first heard it, I thought I just couldn't believe it. I was like, yo, you was really like, but it wasn't because she was sucking dick for alcohol. She did it because she was under the influence. And that's what she was trying to explain to us, was she would drink alcohol and she would get loose. And it wasn't really like she was out there doing it for a bottle, but these young kids, they walk around with bottles and stuff like that. You'd be surprised how some of these women, they drink more than a man. They're drinking a dying shit, and they completely lose all their senses. But that's the point. Now, we don't talk often enough about how when women drug men. I'm tapping into some serious shit. This is what I'm saying. I haven't really even pulled out cards, to be honest with you. I just feel like having conversations, Scorpio and Sagittarius, about certain things. Women drug men. Sleeping pills, or like, if you don't want your man to leave, I've seen and I've heard, I have witnessed it. I've heard people talk about it, women saying the shit that they have done to men and laugh about it, where, they mix something, with melatonin, or, these night sleeping things, so they won't go out. Also, things to give them the shits when they're cheating. Men that drug men. You think you're safe with another man, and then you wake up and things hurt. Or if things don't hurt, you vaguely remember certain things that happen. And it's embarrassing. You think maybe you were fucked up, maybe you were dreaming and shit, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And now, I don't know why really I'm speaking on you on all these experiences. I'm just saying that, like, you can have a really good life without money, and you can have a good life with money too. It all depends. It's all who you're sharing it with. And some people cope with vices because there's something really empty inside. Something is not fulfilled. And when people are not fulfilled, they try to take that from other people. There's nothing worse than seeing a cowboy fan smile. Not just kidding. I'm kidding. No, but imagine having all that money and having all these things, obtained it in so many ways, and the person that you want in love with you does not love you. And you see them in love with someone that's less than you. You know what I'm saying? That little jealousy, that little envy right there can go, oh my gosh. You find yourself all fucked up. I want to go back onto some other shit too. Couples that go out with each other and start wanting somebody else's mate, because outside looking in, it looks like something you would want, but you don't fucking know what the fuck happens behind closed doors. That their husband could be there all day bitching about their wife, and their fucking friend thinks everything about their wife is fucking amazing. And then he bitches about his wife, and the other dude is like, he thinks everything about his wife is fucking amazing. When are we going to be happy with what we got? And at the end of the day, that's why it's so important to choose people that make you, or inspire you to do better with or without money. And don't take them for granted. One thing I did learn out of life, I got advice, or I chose to take this kind of advice from someone. Not that I want to be with a broke man or I wouldn't have respect for a broke man, but rich men tend to marry the woman that they want. And broke men tend to marry um, what they feel they deserve, as far as like, oh, she's going to help me. I'm going to go with whoever helps me the most. There's often stories of people that once they get money, they leave the person that they're with. For example, is it Wall Street Wolf or whatever? Is it Wall Street? The one with Leonardo DiCaprio? He left his wife, his first wife, to get with the type of woman he thinks he deserves after he gets a bunch of money. I don't blame women when women have different avenues during a marriage, because you never know what a man might try to take from you when you leave him or leave you. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. I just feel like we need to be around people that are good for your spirit. And sometimes people are only with each other because they're so accustomed to the toxicity, they don't know anything different. When they try something else different, they feel bored, they're less excited, and it's, oh, because it's healthy, it's not. um what's her name? There's this show, her last name is Pope, okay, and she's messing around with the president, and she had the opportunity to marry a good man that was going to be good to her, and they were going to be established, have a good name. And she decided not to marry him because she's like, no, I want chaos. I want that over the hill craziness. I don't want mediocre. I don't want calm. I don't want peace. I want that crazy fucking kind of love that sweeps me out of my heels, that puts me in a dangerous position, right? And there's also Tyler Perry's movie, the one where there was that one girl who got married to her childhood sweetheart, and they decided to go move into the city. And then she met this like fucking 50 Shades of Grey man off of a dating app. And he started to fall in love with her. And this man had AIDS. And the irony of the whole fucking movie was good girl gone bad and good girl, or bad girl gone good. Because in this movie, Brandy was escaping her ex-husband who gave her AIDS, and he was very abusive, and he was looking for her. And she ended up getting a job with old girl's husband, and old girl ended up screwing the ex-husband, who was mad rich but super possessive, super psycho. And yeah, like, life seemed a little bit more excited, but she was fucked up all the time. She was drunk, and I think they started snorting cocaine, all kinds of shit. That were living on the edge. And she left her husband. And then one day he was having a conversation with Brandy about what happened, and she was explaining, and then they both put two and two together and couldn't find out. We all have choices in life. We make our bed and we have to sleep in it. And we know consequences to life. We all got different stories and different testimonies. I pray that they take you to a place where you can make better choices. I also pray that what you have in front of you is enough for you. And I don't blame anybody for wanting that excitement. And, you know, like I said about that general, you need to experience that shit, I would say, because it will teach you some deep ass lessons in life. And some people are blessed not to have AIDS when they're out here exploring the world, but they will always be known as a one night stand. Nothing more, nothing genuine. The people that will love you will be only love you because you are just a one night stand. There's no commitment, there's no future. You're just now. And let me tell you something about sluts, prostitutes, thoughts, all that. I don't have a problem with them. We go through the same. Have you gone through your whole phase? We often talk about that within women. Have you gone through your whole phase? And even with men, they're like, he's acting like a fucking hoe right now. You know, he's out here fucking everybody, not giving a fuck. You ever see a man that recently broke up with a woman? He's out here fucking everybody, fucking everyone, getting loose at the clubs, getting drunk all the time. And most women tend to cope by staying in bed and fucking crying and, you know, trying to heal themselves. It's not always true because there's women, hey, it's my turn to be a hoe. You ever see a woman when she got divorced, she starts wearing her pumps, she starts dressing up, her tits are a little bit more out, and she's being more flirtatious with everybody else. And the man is at home going to the gym and shit, trying to prove, you know, fuck, I'm going to be faithful to you now. But see, sometimes it just, I don't know what formula is out here with that shit, to be honest with you, because it's like, fuck, man, when you want to settle down, you got to allow the woman to go find herself just like you were finding yourself while you were with her. There's nothing worse than thinking that like someone really loves you and you come to find out like you're the least person he loves because he spends so much time with these other one night stands. You're just on reserve. Same thing with men. No woman taking you serious because they know all you do is one night stands. You never gonna be nothing more than that. And when you do got money, you're gonna attract the same kind of person. I be telling people, what the fuck are you flaunting your money around? Unless what you're trying to attract is a gold digger. Because gold diggers see that shit. And I don't blame rich people for pretending they're poor. Because they want someone to be with them that likes them for them, not someone because when they find out you're a status, you got money, you got all that, all of a sudden everything fucking changes. All of a sudden they watch what they're saying with you. All of a sudden they can't talk to you like a real person. I don't know what's this recipe with life, and I don't really even know why I'm telling you all these stories, but just think about it and let it ponder in your mind. It's nice to live on the edge every blue moon, but I don't know why some people, because I'm going to tell you something. You better be careful calling me a slut, because the kind of sluts I know, I'm a fucking virgin. I'm a fucking virgin. If that's the case, if I'm a slut, I'm a fucking virgin. You think I'm a whore? I'm a fucking virgin, dog. You have no idea the kind of shit I know out here, even with the most. I've seen people be married to a whole fucking hoe. Oh, she's just great at hiding it. None of us want to be tied up with that kind of messy ass shit. You see a good ass man out here just made that hoe a housewife, and you know what the fuck she does behind closed doors. You better be careful calling me a hoe before I call you out on your shit. Now, I'm just saying this because I've had one too many people think they could call me out on some shit and it be them. Last year I did some shit where There was a man, he was trying to do business with me, but the way he was trying to do business with me was flirting. And I think if I would have accepted the terms of the agreements on the shit that he was insinuating, I would have been put in the position where I could have been the other woman or one of many other women. So I thought to myself, how do I teach this motherfucker a lesson? I'm not to fucking mix business with pleasure. Let me tell you the little story. It goes. So I straight out asked him if he had a mate. And then, because he did all this fucking flirting to try to get me to do business with him. All this flirting, fucking gaslighting, unloading the fucking clip, relating to me, all kinds of shit, finessing, con artist bullshit. And I was like, well, I asked him if he had a person, and he said that he did. Unfortunately, that's what he hit me with. Unfortunately, I do. And I think it's funny how some men use those words, unfortunately, because it's like, oh, you're not happy in your marriage, because that is a great invitation for a side chick. Oh, you're not happy. But that was not my fucking problem. It kind of did piss me off. But I knew this man also was affiliated with someone I did not like. She did some messy shit to me. And so I thought to myself, hey, I could kill two birds with one stone. I'll have him by the balls, and then I get to smile at someone that doesn't like me. My get back was very different than hers. Well, how do you get yourself out of a bind with somebody like me? So I took him up on his offer with the business. I think he took it a different way. I think he thought that maybe I was accepting his little bitch ass offer, which I really wasn't. I was going to teach him a lesson. It taught me a lesson too, though. I appreciate the lesson that happened last year because it mentally prepared me for what's to come this year and mentally gave me thicker skin to understand that these motherfuckers in this industry will do the same thing to me over again. So, because I think it's really fucking funny this person did this shit to me because I had somebody else try to pull the same fucking stunt on me recently. And I was like, oh no, honey. Oh no. Oh no, you won't be doing that shit to me, homie. Not this time. Because I learned my lesson from a year prior today, a year prior this month. So yeah, I showed up and I tried my best and I made him be held accountable for some of the shit. And so during this journey, I had so many women ask me questions. Now, I started to think to myself, why are all these women asking me these questions? I said, A, someone's putting them up to investigate me. B, it was more than business to them. What he tried to do to me, he did it to all these other women. And all of them are being silent. Because if I were to talk about it, how many women would be with the side eye? And so the more and more I started to get into it, because I'm a smart woman, I investigate. And I also like to see shit for myself because one thing is what people say, another thing is what you show me. Now, I had someone try to warn me. No, I have maybe about 2 or 3 people try to warn me. 2 high priestesses and a peer of mine. They warned me. And I think once this person started to see I wasn't going to put out, I wasn't going to give you no fucking pussy. I wasn't going to give you no motherfucking pussy. And he started having problems with, and that's the thing that bothered me too. I'm like, why are these women more pissed off than your main chick? Why are they more? Why do they feel more entitled than the actual woman? And let me tell you something about me, because at my age, I ain't got no business giving a fuck about my best friend's ex or my best friend's current man more than her. I ain't got no business hating him more than her or having more love for him than her. Actually, I'm very big on not being like, when I have my homegirls, I don't really want to be around your dude for many fucking reasons. I started this about 4 years ago. I don't want to leave the open door for something to fucking happen. I'm not going to put you in that position. I'm not going to put myself in that position because of how I look and how I carry myself, and because I'm out here in the public persona. Anyways, so we were all cool. Once they started to get to know me and stuff, they started to like me. But then shit started to change. And then I started to think, not until the very end, I started to think about some shit. I think he was putting shit in their head about me so we would not like each other. And I wasn't catching on because, I like people to prove that shit to me, that you don't fucking like it. You say that shit with your chest out and tell me you don't fucking like me. Stop fucking faking the fucking funk, you weak ass bitch. Weak ass bitch. That's some weak ass bitch tendency. Now I understand that we can agree to disagree. That we have to respect each other when we see each other. But you're gonna know flat out I don't fucking like you. This whole group knows I don't fucking like them no more. And my face ain't going to change. And I will never recommend you to anybody because of what you did to me. And his main female didn't understand. But you never asked me woman to woman. You never asked me woman to woman. Because you would have to eat your words, and then you would have known that your fucking dude was lying. You would have caught your dude in the lie. But instead of catching your dude up in the lie, it was better to fucking throw bullets at me. It felt better to think I was taking your man. But you know what? You're more blind than me. Because I could see outside looking in. And I could have been your really good friend to tell you, I know what I see. And one thing for sure, when these women give a fuck more about what you feel and how, there's no way these women should do your work for you. I have best friends too, and there's certain shit that I tell my best friends, you better stick up for yourself. You need to go and say something. I can't do this for you. This is your life. That's your relationship. You need to get your ass up and say something. You don't want me to say anything because that's not my man. And at the end of the day, you're going to get back with him. So why put us all out where we can't hang out no more because your ass is going to go back? Get your ass up and do something about it. There's nothing worse than trying to get me to go slash tires with you, sis, and you only going to pay for them tires again because you're going to go right back to his ass. Now, I'm not saying my friends are doing this. I'm just saying I'm 37 years old. I once was 21 and I had a lot of friends. So the story I'm telling you, I paid attention to that. Now you can run your mouth and do all kinds of shit because I also don't. I feel like the shit that's been going around, all this shit is not no coincidence. I don't think. I said the other day. I believe it's not just one person doing witchcraft. I believe it's a whole group. I just want to know how you go up in church and praise the Lord and all this shit. You tried to really put me in some serious hurt and pain. You watched me. You would have had my life fucked up. And now you praising God. I made some readings on here about like when people catch the Holy Ghost in 30 minutes, when you're going straight to hell. Because them intentions and them actions, if you think God is not listening to you while you lying to God up in the fucking... That's why I don't do religion. It ain't for me, dog. I'm not saying that there ain't good people in religion, but it ain't for me, dog, because, you know, I was thinking today how some people look like an angel, but they're really why would the devil come and tell you he's the fucking devil? He gonna dress like an angel, everything you ever fucking wanted. And people who are imperfect and they tell you I'm imperfect, I have these flaws and all that, it may look like they're the devil, but they're telling you the fucking truth. Their angel is making them speak to you and telling you who, like, I know I ain't shit. I know, you know, because confession is so necessary to become an angel. Having a bunch of tattoos, but you're out here saving fucking the homeless. You're fucking rich and you're still donating. You're not just donating, you're participating on the volunteering. But everybody thinks you that you're just a spoiled little fucking brat. It's looks are so deceiving, Scorpio and Sagittarius. Be careful and never want what other people have, because you don't know what the fuck they deal with. And throughout this journey, going back onto this group of people, it goes back during the summertime. That's when I heard. No, it wasn't during summertime. Was it? When was it? It may. Well, it was the beginning of summer, and I was listening to that speech by the ex-general. I realized how blessed, like, I realized how blessed I was. And I also didn't even really realize that everything he was telling me, one day I was going to look back and be like, I'm glad that you gave that speech out, because right now, as I sit here today, during that time, it was Gemini season. I was really fucking upset over what happened. But here I am again, where all those fucking shenanigans started. I'm here today to tell you, I'm glad these people did these things to me, because I could be taking the wrong people with me. Had they not done that shit early enough, I would be in a very fucked up position with fucked up people, fucked up mentality, fucked up everything. Now, I feel like that person is around a bunch of yes names. No one is telling, and he won't take the advice even if I try to give it to him. He would think I'm his fucking enemy. Shit, he might think I'm his enemy right now, but honestly, I'm not. Because I could have said a lot more. Actually, I could do some real fucking damage. But then I think to myself, if you treat somebody like me like this, you're going to treat a lot of people like that. You're going to come across the one person that's going to fuck up your whole fucking life. And you're going to learn a great lesson and how not to use the gift of gab to calm people. Where you could use the gift of word, of preaching and teaching and inspiring us. He was really cruel to me too during my shit. One time, he flat out said it in front of everybody that I was doing shit wrong. He kept always pointing out every fucking thing that I did wrong. The one time he complimented me, he did it. He whispered it. Oh, but he wanted to make a point to everybody that I wasn't, like, everything I did was wrong. And then what he didn't know is that everybody was noticing it. And even one of the people that was there, she would constantly tell me that she couldn't stand the way I would smile. She couldn't stand to see me happy in the morning. And what the fuck? And that my voice was annoying. And everybody heard that shit. And when I came back from having a break, because I had a lot of people pass away and I got really extremely sick and I was going through some real fucked up shit. When I went back, all those people that heard that shit held that person accountable for what she said to me. They went back and retraced the whole fucking words. And she tried to lie and be like, I never said that. I didn't mean it. They're like, we were there. We heard you
say that you couldn't stand the way that she smiled, that you didn't like. And it was so crazy because none of them people, they didn't reach out to me. They weren't the ones that, like, told me about the program or anything. But they all saw what they did to me. And till this day, I haven't told any of them people anything about what happened. I've told YouTube a lot more than that. And I keep their names private because I'm not like them. But this did happen to me. And I swear, God is our witness. Try to fucking lie on my fucking name. Try to lie on my testimony. And you're going to find out who God is. It don't matter how much you go up in that church and lie to them motherfucking people. God going to hold you accountable for what you did to me. You should be grateful and blessed that I don't run my fucking mouth about who you are. You're going to fail with your own stripes, not with mine. And I want you guys to know this. I'm telling you guys this because just like that general was telling me, be grateful for the people that betray you. Be grateful when you were poor. Be grateful when you're rich. Be grateful for the things that happen in your life because they're teaching you lessons. It's teaching you how to survive. It's teaching you how to inspire other people. It's teaching you to act better. It's teaching you some common sense. It's teaching you accountability. You have to go through experiences to get these. It's just not handed to you. I did not expect to be in this fucking position, but today I'm so grateful that I am. Because I know when I rise up, I'm not taking those people with me. Could you imagine what they would have done to me when I was up? This turned out to be a talk to me. So I'm going to call this a talk to me because this is me talking to you about many experiences and stuff and things that I have witness came across. And it was some very serious shit. That lady didn't even know that I wasn't there to fuck your man. I was there to teach your man a lesson. And I had him tied up into a bunch of lies, squirming out of it. So what did he do? Start talking shit about me. And your ass believed it. This woman believed it. Do you know men, when they don't want one or the other one to know about each other, they talk shit about each other? And none of it be true. This is a testimony of my life. I've read messages about myself. I was comfortably laid up with my man. I didn't know we had problems until there was a problem. And then I read all the messages. The things he said about me. The lies, too. There was some pure, flat out lies. And I was like, okay, you ain't who I thought you was. And I'm also glad that happened to me, too, because I would have never been able to do what I do had I still been in that situation. I wouldn't be who I am right now. I would be using my gifts for something else. Something that isn't worth dying for. So I'm grateful you betrayed me. Speaking on that betrayal, that certain betrayal, let me tell you about that certain betrayal. Yesterday, I was at the grocery store. And I seen the bitch that caused a lot of problems in that relationship. Not just her. He did too. But I'm in a better place with him. And I'm in a good place with her too. But she always catches amnesia when she fucking sees me. She acts like she doesn't fucking know me. And that shit pisses me off. Because it's like, we've gone past that, bitch. You done fucked up, blew my money away, and all kinds of shit, bitch. At least act like you fucking know me, ho. Act like you fucking know me, bitch. I'm not trying to fight you again, but act like you fucking know me. So I said hi to her. And then she totally pretended like she's like, who are you? And then it hit her like a ton of bricks. The next thing I know, she's going out to fucking pay for shit because it took her a second to find out who the fuck I was. And I was like, look at God working in mysterious ways. And The one bitch that did witchcraft on me, her best friend shows up on my social media shit. It was just back to back on all these bitches, because I was crying the other day and I was talking about how these women have done some fucked up shit and all of them are popping out of the blue. I only got words for one bitch, and she's hiding from me because she knows that I know that she's still married and her husband doesn't have no fucking idea the things that she did, and she knows I'm going to tell it. I mean, people would say, "Oh, you shouldn't. Who cares?" No. This bitch tried to kill me. I'm telling. I ain't telling the cops. I'm telling her husband. I'm like, oh no. Just the same way you meddled in mine, I could do it a lot better. But my point ain't to break up your husband or anything like that. The point is that if you're not going to confess what you did, someone needs to help that man. Because he has no fucking idea the things that you did behind his back. So she hides from me. The last time I seen her, she grabbed her shit. Her husband was there, and she was lucky it was a kid's birthday party. Because I stood there and I looked at her, and I looked at the kids, and I had to think about it. I was like, the kids. She was so fucking lucky the kids were there. But she got the fuck up and she left. And I have a little memo for people. I'm not fucking going anywhere. Y'all's gonna move. Y'all gonna leave my fucking city. And that's another point I want to make to people. You don't need to run from the hate that people have done. The shit they've done to you. You don't need to run away. Trust me, God is good all the time. Even though God is a real OG, he's a real fucking gangster. Throughout history, we see that shit. God has done things like make his people cross a river, a lake, or whatever it was. And all those enemies that came to attack you and kill you were washed away. Never lose trust in your maker. Because I feel like I prayed myself out of all these situations. I'm telling you, I prayed myself out of it. I prayed myself over this bitch doing witchcraft on me. And I put trust in God that whatever, because she did death magic on me. I wanted to fucking kill myself. And I had a talk with someone yesterday. And I told this person, like, you gotta be kind to people, even your enemies. Because I'm even being kind to my enemies right now. I don't tell people who you are. And I will let other people find out, because sometimes you have to go through certain lessons in life. Just like one of my peers, she tried to warn me. And she told me, she was like, but sometimes you gotta let people go through the dark times so they can see the light, so they can appreciate the light, and it will give you stamina, and it will give you strength, and it will give you courage. The next time around that someone tries to con you, someone tries to take from you, you can stand on your boundaries. You can stand on because now you know who you really are. Now you know you can survive those kind of people. Now you know your value. Now you know that not everybody's worth your time. And it will make you value the people that do trust and believe in you. That don't need your money. They just need your friendship. They just need your companionship. And my gosh, I didn't realize how powerful I became from these fucking horrible experiences I went through. The same thing with the Count of Monte Cristo, going back on that, the Count of Monte Cristo. Had he had not experienced all that turmoil, he would have never got all the riches. He would have never ended up with his wife the way he wanted to, because The way that man, at least he spared him his life. Had he had just taken his life, I mean, he found out who was really faithful, like honorable to him, faithful to him. He had a best friend, or he saved him. He spared his life, and after that, he vowed to always have his back, and he did. He would have never found a real loyal friend, because his loyal friend that he thought he had betrayed him, took his girl, took his money, took everything he had. He even took the fucking whistle. He got replaced by a better friend. One he could have killed, but he spared. Now going back to the story of the woman that was on drugs. You know how fucking like mind-blowing it is for someone to tell you now the shit ain't perfect is because they're not on drugs. She told the man, I was on drugs for 5 years. I am seeking treatment now. She'd be so fucked up. And then speaking on this addiction that I told you about, the woman that was saying she was sucking dick and stuff like that. And I was all shocked. And that story is what kind of helped me yesterday when I ran into that side chick from the past. We're in a good place, but I just can't stand. She always fucking acts like she doesn't know me, like she tries to avoid because she has to see the truth. The shit that, like, had you not done those things to me, I still be in the cage. And I felt like rage take over me, and I had to talk myself out of it. And I actually found compassion for her. Because there's a lot of shit I could shit on her about, but then I thought to myself, I don't know what fucking happened to you when you were a child that makes you live that lifestyle. The person that you're with beats the fuck out of you. He pimps you. And God knows what else. And then I thought to myself, it felt better to escape with someone that wasn't yours, to help you escape for what was yours. And I had to find compassion in that. It also almost made me choke up because I was like, damn, your life's gotta be hella fucked up to accept the things that you're accepting from who you're with now, and to put yourself in that position with so many women's husbands. And then it almost makes me have compassion for that bitch that did black magic on me. Because it must suck. All that loyalty you had for this man wasn't even for yours. You would kill me behind that man, but you wouldn't kill for yours. And I got to think about how fucked up your life had to be as a child for you to think that that's the way to think. And then it comes, and then I'm going to go down back to Celia Cruz. Those opportunities that are placed in front of you, you can fuck it up for life. That's another thing the general was saying. Taking heed to the moment of opportunity. Because just because they tell you to be a general, just because they tell you you could become an artist and all of that, you can make millions in so many different ways. Or you could have the love of your life by jumping on that opportunity when it's right in front of you. If not, you might not ever get the opportunity ever again. Going back to what happened to me, like I said, had these people not done these things to me, I don't know who else be trying to take advantage of me. And it also comes to show that sometimes you can't talk to a woman to woman with people, because you're not talking to women, you're talking to manipulative humans. And no matter even if you're innocent or not, they will prefer to see it as you as the other woman because they can't go past the thought that you're with the wrong guy and you're dead ass wrong. There's something wrong with you and there's something wrong with the mate and there's something wrong with the way you see life. And no matter if you get rid of me, you're never going to get rid of that train of thought on how you live. And one day, sis, that shit gonna blow all over in your face. I could keep on wishing you bad, but I just know that if you rather live in lies, don't get mad at the truth. Keep lying to yourself. A lot of people lie to themselves all the time. Some lies are good and some are not. For example, I had someone tell me some really fucked up things. Like, she couldn't wait to tell me this, but they weren't lies. She told me it must suck that so and so died on me. It must suck that so and so don't love you. It must suck. I mean, she went in on my ass in the middle of a fucking event. And I was just like, damn. I know a lot of fucking fucked up shit about her, and I could have thrown it in her face, and I didn't. This is not a lie. The truth hurts. And maybe every day I wake up and I lie to myself and I say, today's going to be better than yesterday. Those lies sound perfect to me. But if you think I'm going to lie to myself about someone that loves me or not, I'm not going to do that. If you think I'm going to lie to myself about like who I used to be and who I am now, I'm not going to lie to myself about that. But if having faith and hope is a lie, I'd rather take that one. This ain't much doing tarot. This is more of experience. And I pray that whatever I'm telling you now is useful in your life. Don't take for granted your lessons. Do better. Remember, be careful wanting somebody else's life. Be careful wanting to take something that isn't yours. Because that whistle, although he got away with it all those fucking years, ultimately at the end, truth prevailed. Justice prevailed. And speaking on this general, you know what I really admire out of him? Is the fact that he didn't go with the hype. He wasn't a yes man. Those experiences that he was talking about, he had to talk about them because someone lived life. And when was the moment for him to be his own hero? To him, it was being a hero. He stood on business, he stood on moralities, and he stood on his beliefs. Do you know how hard it is to be the only one standing up? A coward dies 1,000 deaths. A soldier dies but once.